Good evening. Officials and government ministers have been closely studying data on coronavirus cases ahead of tomorrow's update on the restrictions. Most of Scotland is expected to move from level 2 to level 1 from next Monday. Here's our senior reporter, Gordon Cree.
They've been thankful of the bank holiday sun in Glasgow today. Socialising is only allowed outside in the city, which has been under tight restrictions for longer than anywhere else in the UK.
You do kind of feel as if you're being picked on, and I know that's not the case, but especially when the weather's like this and you can't go anywhere else.
Hopefully soon we'll get off the level 3 and get back to normality again.
People have been suffering for a while, businesses have been suffering. I think going to level 2 is going to really help.
The indications are a change to level 2 could be made later this week.
The next few days will be critical. It's going to be very difficult to keep Glasgow in level 3 for any longer when you look at other areas, parts of Edinburgh, Midlothian, Renfrewshire. If you just use cases, they're already well above the level 3 threshold.
That means we could see parts of Scotland remain in level 2 while the rest moves to level 1.
We are in the early stages of understanding the April 02 or so-called Indian variant. We're in the really early stages. We're not, I don't think, at the peak of this variant having taken hold in Scotland, and therefore we've got to really tread quite carefully and cautiously, and that's some of what I'm sure the First Minister will set out in her statement tomorrow.
A number of localised outbreaks are being managed across the country. In Aviemore, a cluster of 18 cases linked to a small number of social gatherings is being monitored. This pub is closed as a result. 490 new COVID cases were reported across Scotland today, but despite the rise in recent weeks, there hasn't been a similar increase in severe illness, and that's why some experts have concluded more normality isn't far away. Gordon Cree, STV News.
Two men who left a woman severely injured after dropping a sofa on her from a rooftop have been fined a total of £15,000. Adita Butkevichuta had to have metal plates placed in her spine after the incident in Aberdeen. Louise Hosey reports.
Adita Butkevichuta was left with life-changing injuries after a sofa being moved by Barry Law and Lee Morrison landed on her in December 2019. The nail technician had been putting out the rubbish at her work and was on the phone at the time. Barry Law and Lee Morrison had previously admitted a single charge of culpable and reckless conduct and appeared at Aberdeen Sheriff Court today for sentencing. The men dropped the sofa from outside Law's flat as they couldn't find any other way of getting it out of the building. They took it through a window and then checked below before pushing it over the side. Miss Butkevichuta suffered injuries to her spine, legs and lungs. She suffers from flashbacks and panic attacks and can't sit for more than 40 minutes. The court heard the incident would haunt Barry Law for the rest of his life and he was extremely sorry. And Lee Morrison never intended for anyone to get hurt and he felt awful about what was a catastrophic error of judgment. Sentencing the men, Sheriff William Summers told them that had no precautions been put in place, then a custodial sentence would have been inevitable. He told them, "You simply should not have done this and your actions are inexcusable." Well, Law was ordered to pay £12,000 in compensation and Morrison told to pay £3,000. They were both ordered to undertake 150 hours each of unpaid work and will both be supervised for 18 months. Adita Butkevichuta said in a statement that while this had affected her for the rest of her life, she did not want to see the men go to jail. "It was a stupid thing they did," she said. "They know that and have to live with that. But other people in the community have attacked them and isolated them, and that is wrong." Louise Hosey, STV News.
The Stornoway to Ullapool Ferry Loch Seaforth will return to service this evening. The Calmac vessel suffered an engine failure in April and has undergone extensive repairs. Calmac say they recognise it has been an extremely challenging time and again apologise for the recent disruptions. 15 lorries carrying valuable seafood cargoes were held up at Stornoway at the weekend because they were unable to get on the ferry.
Fish, we're carrying shellfish. All of these things have obviously a shelf life and the value of them is deteriorating every hour that they're not getting to where they're supposed to be going to. So we had, my own estimate, probably about £1 million worth of fish sitting on the pier in Stornoway, which had to be somewhere else.
Now, today has been the UK's warmest day of the year so far, with 25.1 degrees centigrade recorded at Kinlough in Wester Ross, and at Kinloss in Murray, not far behind at 24.6 degrees. Well, let's see what the weather prospects look like for tomorrow. Here's Philip Petrie.
Hello, good evening. Well, after a beautiful weekend for many of us, this new week has started off nice as well. We've got high pressure dominating our weather, and that stays in charge for the first couple of days of the week. Come Wednesday night, though, we do start to see a bit of a change as low pressure starts to move in, so things turning a little bit more unsettled. Back to just now for the rest of this evening, there's not much change. We're holding on to that low cloud mist and murk around eastern parts. Elsewhere, though, it's remaining dry with clear skies, and temperatures not dropping too far. Lows of 14 or 15 in the west, 7 or 8 in the east. For tomorrow, a similar looking day, dry and bright with some cloud in the west.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
That's all for now. Enjoy what's left of the Bank Holiday Monday. Bye-bye.